Hi everyone, welcome to my show. Today we're going to be learning how to make a seed bead bracelet. First, I wanted to show you another bracelet that I made using beads. There is seed beads in this bracelet, pearls, and bicone crystals. This is a stitch that's called right angle weave. It's a little bit harder to do, but if I can do it, you can do it. This is one of my favorites. Are we blurry or are we okay? This is the base of right angle weave on the bottom, and then we just embellish it on the top with different beads. So this is a bracelet that we can make sometime too. And this one, look at this one. This is a rope necklace that I made. Now this takes a lot more time. Isn't this beautiful? Remember, any of these projects, you can make a matching bracelet just by making it shorter, or make a necklace by making it longer, and you just keep going. It's hard for me to tell you how long something takes to make because we have to look at it a couple of different ways. Number one, everyone works at a different speed, and number two, I don't know how long at one time you're going to work at it. So, oh wow, I don't even know how many beads are in this one. You guys, you're not going to believe me, but this is as easy as the one that I'm going to show you today to make. What I like, the stitches that I do are repetitive stitches. So in other words, it's one stitch and you just keep doing it over and over and over again. So this bracelet, necklace, all you need for this is your needle, your thread, the beads. Can you see the beads that are in the inside there? The beads on the inside, and two different color seed beads. That's it. And you just make it the length that you need it, whether you want it to be a bracelet or a necklace. And it's the exact same thing of what I already told you, where you just put your clasp on and you're done. Okay. So this is a netted beaded necklace. And it's solid. I mean, it's not going anywhere. There's no reason for you to be afraid to wear this. All right. So these are the colors that I am working with today. And I've started one. This one's ready for me to add thread. So I'm going to put this off to the side. And when I'm going to start one with you so that you can see how to do it, but I wanted to be able to show you how to add thread. So I'm working with champagne color size 11 beads and size 8 color, the dark topaz. So I can do a YouTube video too so that if you're having trouble, you'll be all right. In fact, I can download this video onto YouTube and you can see if it's going to freeze up or anything for you. All right. Now, if you don't have a bead mat, this is a napkin. Okay? You can work on a napkin. I didn't want you guys to invest in a bunch of stuff until you know if this is what you are going to want to do, if you're going to like it or not. But if you are, you're going to get yourself a bead mat. And everything for this project is really inexpensive, so bead mats are nothing. It's just a foamy type of a mat where your beads won't roll around. So what I'm going to have you do first is thread your needle, okay, and put out some 8s and 11s. If you have any 6s, grab one size 6 bead. And that's just going to be a stopper at the bottom of your project. Now, as far as how long you want your thread to be, it's whatever you're going to feel comfortable working with. If you're not going to like the process of having to add thread, you're going to want to make it a long piece. But I'm going to tell you that the longer your piece of thread is, the more tangled up it's going to get. So I would suggest starting out with at least 16 inches of thread, because we're going to be weaving, and what that means is you're going to be going back and forth through several of the same beads, and you're going to be using up a lot of thread. So start out with at least 16 inches of thread. Okay, do you all have your needles threaded? I don't use a needle threader, but I have one of these lights. Can you see it? It's a light and a magnifier. I suggest if you like working with seed beads after you do this project, you purchase one of these mini lights that go on your desk, because it is worth the money, and Joann Fabrics has them on sale for half price all the time. All right, let me all know when you're ready, when your needles are threaded, because I want everyone working at the same pace here. I don't want anyone to get lost. A big eye needle. This is the worst thing about this project, I'm telling you, is threading the needle. Otherwise, it's pretty easy. Okay. Well, I know Sue was working with me, and Cheryl, Bonnie, and Tanya, are you working with me or no? I don't want to go too fast. I don't want to hold you up and go slow either, so you just need to tell me what to do. Okay, good, Cheryl. Do you have a size 6 bead? Okay, Shy. Oh, I know what I was going to tell you. Okay. All right. If you don't have a size 6, you're going to put, I'll just have you, we're looking for a stopper bead at the bottom. But let me tell you something really fast too. The higher the number of your bead, the smaller the bead. These are 11s. These are 8s. And the biggest that I have here are 6s. So when Sue, or I'm sorry, whoever said that the lady wanted them to get size 10s, that's even smaller than the 11s. Or no, wait, 10. The higher the number, the smaller the bead. 10 would be between the 11 and the 8, obviously, so it would be a little bit bigger, but 15s are itty bitty. So you can make them with that, but the count changes. So that's why I wanted you to get 11s and 8s. So if you're taking notes, this is only going to work for size 11 beads and size 8 beads. Okay, what I want you to do first is put one of your larger beads on the very end as a stopper bead. I'm using a 6. So just, and as you can see, you're not picking the bead up and putting it onto your needle. You're working with it on your surface. So just stab at it and pick it up. And you guys are going to have to tell me at what point I get blurry here, because I don't want to get too close, but I want to get close enough for you to see what I'm doing. So you're going to put it on, pull it down to the end of your thread. I'm just pulling down to the end. I'm going to show you about how much of a tail you want to leave. Remember, you're putting a clasp on the end. And this is why I wanted you to work with a little bit longer of a piece, because you're leaving all of this at the end. I'd say leave at least, and I just eyeball it, leave at least 4 to 6 inches at the end, because you want your clasp to get in there. Now what you're going to do is bring your needle back around and go through that bead like this. Is that blurry? To put your stopper bead on. And I'm just teaching you guys as if I was learning myself. So don't be offended if, you know, that's something super duper easy to do and I'm taking time to do it. I like to learn by being shown step by step myself. So that's how I'm teaching you. Now this bead, I'm going to show you, this is going to hold all the rest of your beads so that they're not falling off the end. But when we're done with our bracelet, I just pulled it right off. Okay? So it's not a part of the design, it's just on there to hold your beads. Okay? So get it on there. And then you're going up through the bead again from the bottom. You're working upward. Pull it. No, it's coming off. It's only going to hold your beads on there. So I don't care if it's pink with blue polka dots. It's not a part of your design. It's only going to hold the rest of those beads on there. Okay? So tell me when you've got it on there and you're ready to go to the next step. You don't want it to come off. No. Okay, so you stab at it and put it on your thread. And then look what I'm doing. You're going, work from the bottom end of the thread and push your needle through and up. Try it. Try it again. You just have to pinch it really hard and pull it, and it should come off. Tell me if you got it. Sue, do you have yours on? And in fact, if you don't have the size 6 bead, okay, good. If you don't have the size 6 bead and you're putting a size 8 on, use a different color than what you're going to be using in the bracelet design so you don't get confused. How are you doing, Cheryl? Do you have it? I'm just waiting for her to reply. All right. No. Let's figure it out. Take your bead off. Even if you have to cut it off, take it off. And this is another reason why you start with a longer piece at the beginning, because if you end up cutting it, because you've got to be able to get that bead off of there, or it's a part of your design, and we don't want it to be a part of your design. Let me do one with one of the brown ones up close so you can see it. I'm going to do it again, same thing. Put it on your needle. Bring it all the way down to the end of your thread. I'm going to take this white one off so you can see it. Can you see that? Now here's the back end of my thread. Here's my needle. I'm going up through it just once. Okay, she's got an ad. Tell me when you're back. Okay, is this blurry if I'm this close? Can you see it? Here's the back end of my thread in my hand. What about now? And you're just going up through it like this from the back and pull your needle through like this. And there it is. Let me know if you got it. Okay, now you're going to hear me saying core, C-O-R-E. Your core beads are going to be your beads that are going to be the working beads that are the ones that remain on the thread. Yes, it wraps around the bead. Yes, it does. So again, I'm going to put that in there in case with my frog voice. Core. The core beads are the beads that will run up the length of the thread. Okay, good. And the spiral beads are the beads, obviously, that are going to be spiraling around. So what you're going to do now is you're going to pick up 6 of your size 11 beads. And this is called core 6. Thank you. I feel a lot better. By the end of this, though, I might be all hoarse again because that's what's happening. And again, you're picking them up with the needle. You're not using your fingers. Thanks for doing that, Shy. And that's called core 6. Okay, and they're just on my needle. And I'm going to pull them all the way down to the bottom of my bracelet. Now, I took pictures as I made one, you guys. So that's going to be all in my tutorial. All right? So that's the very start. Now, this is what you're going to be doing. This is all you're going to be doing now. What I'm going to tell you throughout this whole bracelet is you're going to add 3 11s, 1 8, and 2 11s. So it's 3 1 2. This is going to be the whole rest of the bracelet is this right here. 3 11s, 1 8, 2 11s. 3 1 8. Okay? And let me know if I'm going too fast. Now, this is what I do. I don't bring it all the way down. You can see it in my hand. Here's the ones I just put on. Now, you've got the 3 right here that are on the bottom. One of those is actually added to your core, and these become your spiral. So what you're going to do now is, just like you went up through the bottom, when you put that big bead on the bottom, that's right, 3 11, 1 8, 2 11. You take one of the 11s that you put on at the very bottom and push it down to your core. And then you count 5 beads from the bottom. So from the very bottom, not counting the big bead, the size 11. Counting 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And you're going to go up. This is hard for me to do because I'm wanting you guys to see what I'm doing, so I'm doing it at a little awkward angle. You're going to go up through 5 beads. I'm looking to see if you can see what I'm doing, but let me get the needle through. And this is where my pictures are really going to help you too. Make sure I got 5. 1, 2, 3. Okay, I've got 6, so I've got to get rid of 1. All right. See what I've done? I've got 5 of the core beads on my needle. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I'm going to pull through. And I'm going to show you what it's going to look like so you can see that you've done it correctly. This is what it looks like now. I'm just not sure where, at what point it's blurry. Okay. So you've got your 3 11s, your 1 8, your 2 11s. Bring down to your core. Okay? Did you guys follow me on that? We're gonna, that's the entire stitch throughout the entire bracelet. Wonderful. Okay? That is all you do through the whole thing. So think about this a minute. You're adding 3 11s. One of them becomes a part of the core. And then 2 11s, an 8, and 2 11s are your spiral. And you just, this makes the entire length of the bracelet. That's all you do. Cheryl, how are you doing? So you should have 2 beads at the very bottom, and then your little loopy, your spiral. You may need to see the pictures of my tutorial because it might be too blurry. I mean, I wanted to be up really close and high here for you so you could see what I'm doing, but if it's blurry, I guess it really doesn't matter. Now, just starting it is what takes a little while. Okay? Now, here's the thing. If you go through the wrong beads, you back out of it. Do not start stitching your way around because you're going to make knots and everything else. Okay, you don't have 2 at the bottom? You should. How many do you have at the bottom? Okay, I wasn't clear then. You need to go through the top 5, the very first 5, not the bottom 5. So just, you can do one of 2 things. You can take your needle off and pull your beads off and start again, or back through it. Don't start stitching or you're going to make knots in your thread, and it's not a big deal right now, but when you get further on in your bracelet, that's going to stink because then you're going to rip the bracelet. Yeah, the needle hole is really small. Do you have a magnifier? If you're not going to pull the beads off, all you have to do is follow your thread, wherever your thread is, go back down those same beads and your needle will stay on. You don't have to take your needle off. You can follow the path right back down the beads that you just went through and it will bring you out the same spot. Okay, so then your next step is exactly the same. You put on, I don't need these anymore. You put on 3 11s, one 8, 2 11s. You know what? Let me try something that I've seen them do on TV when they're teaching this. Hold on, I'm going to draw it for you. Hold on, guys. Hold on. I can start again. It's not a big deal. Let me draw it for you a second, because now Tanya says she's confused. All right. So here's your thread. Here's your stopper bead. Okay? This is the stopper. Now you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is your core 6 beads. Oh, you got it, yay! But I want to show it to you on here so you can, and it's not you, Cheryl, it's me. I'm not explaining it well. Hold on. Trying to get a little closer here. So here's your core 6 11s, okay? Yes? This won't be as blurry. Is this blurry right here at this spot? How close can I come before it's blurry? Is it okay there? because this is perfect to show you. All right, perfect. Okay, now, then you've got, when you put on your needle, you've got 3 11s, right? 1 8 and 2 11s. Okay? So this is what your thread looks like. Is this okay? You take this 11 right here and you push it down here. Okay, so this 11 is on top of the 6 core. So now you're going to have 7. Okay? Then you're going to count 5 beads from the top. Now remember, this one is now here. So you've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. You're going to go up with your needle right here. These 2 beads stay on the bottom. Does that explain it better? Oh, good. Sue, are you with me? Tanya, is that less confusing now? Maybe it's better for me to draw it like that then and show you. This is, okay, good. So this is exactly what happens throughout the entire bracelet now. Nothing else. That's all you are going to do. That's why I said it's so easy. Okay, so get your 3 11s, your 8, and your 2 11s on your needle. Same thing now. Now, because we're first starting, I'm going to tell you this is like the worst part until you get that first spiral done. Hold it with your spiral, with your loopy part going to the left. Because it's just easier to, and in fact, if you hold that loop, that's even better. It's going to keep you coring. You're holding your core because that's what you're working on. So remember now, take the 1 bead and it's now a part of the core. So leave your 2 11s, your 1 and 2 11s here. This is now part of your core. And again, you're going to go up through 5 core beads, counting from the top. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you're going upward. And it's okay if the bead rolls up the thread a little bit. You're just going to bring it right back down. It's not a big deal. And like I said, because I'm working this way so you guys can see what I'm doing, it's just a little harder. And you pull. Okay, so this is what it's going to look like now. Tell me if you have it. Yay! Okay, now you don't want both of those like that, one on each side of the core. So you're going to push it so that they're both next to each other, like this. Okay. Okay, good. Sue, you got it too? Okay. So again, hold both loops and look at the core. Just always have the core in your hand. Same thing now. 3 11s, 1 8, 2 11s. Now please remember, guys, if you're using different size beads, this count is not the same. The bugle bracelets that I made, the bugle bead bracelets, the count is different. I will give you all of that information if you want it. I'll email it to you. I'm not giving it to everyone. Yep, you're just making a bead using beads. You're making a spiral. Because remember, this is what it's looking like as you go. It's really easy once you get this first spiral done. Okay, so again, same thing. I've got 3 11s, 1 8, and 2 11s. I'm pushing one of the 11s because it is a part of my core. And think about it, you need to add one bead to the core because you're traveling up the length of the bracelet. Now, starting from the top, I'm going to count 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And I'm going up and through. Okay? And pull. And again, this is what it's going to look like. It's always falling off to the one side. You're just pushing it. You're forcing it so that it lays together, so that the 3 spirals lay together. Now, once you get the first spiral done, it will automatically spiral for you. You have to help the first one. Okay? Are you with me? I was telling Sue, I'm going to make these, I'm going to see if Erica wants these for her bridesmaids. They're very delicate. I mean, is this a good shot of this or is it blurry? If you know someone who likes jewelry, and I'm telling you, it goes really fast. It really does. Now, because we're using size 8 here, it's really going to go fast. The bugle beads, it goes faster because look, the bugle bead takes up a lot more room. Now here's what I did to figure out the bugle bead. When you think about it, you've got to count how many beads there are there that equal the length of the bugle bead. And that's how your count changes. But I've already done all that work and I'm happy to share that with you. The count is different for the size 8, the bugle, and the hexagon. And I've got the numbers of all the counts for those if anyone wants it after this. Okay, so again, you're going to go 3 11s, 1 8, 2 11s. All right. And this is just how I do it, you guys. I'm sure there's other tutorials out there, but I tend to do what's easier. And if you're always working with that core, where you're looking at the core, you're always going to be able to find 5. So again, I've already pulled one down from here, from my spiral. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And you go up through. And you have to go up through, not down through. You go up through. And one other thing, like I said, that OttLite or a magnifier is worth the money because the needle, as Cheryl told you right there too, threading that needle is the worst part of the project. And the needle has to be that thin to go through these itty bitty holes of these beads. Again, I'm trying to do this where you guys can see it, and I'm just at an awkward angle. All right. Now it gets a little harder to see the core after you've done one whole spiral. But you can see it because the core gets, smaller. Are you guys following me? I'm out of camera, sorry. And as long as you're pushing that spiral around, you're going to be good to go. So that's all you're doing through this whole thing. I'm sorry, you guys, my washer's dinging now. All right, so that's what it looks like. So again, it's 3, 1, 2. Right? You pull it down. Okay, and I'm pulling 1 bead down to my core, flipping it over so I can see my core. And I'm going to count 5. This is how I do it when I'm working. This is how I hold it. It's hard for me to do that and because you guys can't see what I'm doing then, but this is how I do it when I'm actually doing it myself, and it goes a lot faster. Is I hold my thumb at the stopper bead of the same hand, and then between my 2 fingers, I hold the beads I'm working on, and it holds it nice and tight so that it's easy to go through those 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you just have to find a comfortable way of holding it and doing it. And as long as you count correctly and you go through the right beads, you're fine. So you can't see it, but that's how I do it. And it really does work up pretty quick. Are you guys still going? You can, I'm going to see if I can lay it down and do it. I'm just trying to find a way so that you can see it working up better. Because I know how to do it, I just want to make sure you can see it. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And it also makes a difference with the color beads that you're using as far as what's easier to see. Dark colors are hard to see in your core, and really light colors like mine being white are hard to see. So to start with, what color are you guys all using? Let's talk about that. Who's using what color? What color beads did you pick out at the store? Oh, you're sorry you picked them? So you're working with like this one that I did, pink and white. Don't be sorry. It's practice. It's going to take a little bit of time. You've got to practice. And it's not hard. If anything, I'm just not explaining it as well as you need to have it explained. And I do apologize for that. And I want to see pictures. See? It is easy. It is hard to see the holes, but that's part of the delicacy of the pattern. Seed beads are awesome to work with. Just remember to keep pulling those spirals off to the side so that the bracelet spirals in the right direction while you're doing that first spiral, because otherwise it's going to look awkward. All right, now I'm going to go to my other bracelet where this is, see? Yep. All right, so here's where I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 spirals added to it. So that's all you do is you just keep going. Just keep adding the 3, 1, 2. And that makes your spiral. Now look, I've got a problem because I'm not halfway through and I'm almost out of thread. Now, you're just going to measure, depending on who you're making this for, measure the wrist, and as you can see, I'm not even halfway done yet. So I'm going to show you now on this one, and I'm sorry, but I'm going to pause to take pictures as I do it because it's part of the tutorial I'm going to be sending to you. I am cutting a piece of thread, Again, it's fine to use a real long piece of thread if you're able to work with that long of a piece, but if you're new to beading, the smaller pieces are easier, but it does require you to add thread. All right, so, and again, this is just how I do it. You take the thread, okay, so here's my new piece, here's my existing piece, and all I'm going to do is knot it on there. All right. So you're just going to make a knot and pull it down. All the way, pull it down as far as you can to this bead, your top bead. Try not to pull too tight because you don't want it, depending on the pound of thread that you're using, you should be okay. So I knot it there. I just knot it 2 or 3 different times with each piece of thread that I see to attach it to that existing piece. Okay, so I've got 1, 2, 3 pieces of thread. I'm going to put these 2 together now. And I'm just making a knot. And you're not going to see that knot because, 1, it's so super fine. You're just not. And 2, another bead is going to sit on top of it. All right. So now this thread is my long piece of thread. And this one is the one that I'm cutting because I have the needle on it. However, if I cut that right there, I'm taking a chance of beads falling off of it. So what I like to do is I go back down through beads to hide my thread through beads. And it also reinforces the beads as well. So as you can see, all I'm doing now is where I've never gone down into the beads, I'm always going up. To hide my thread, I'm going to go down. And you can do it through the core, you can do it through the spiral, you can do it however you want. I just go through, and I'm not even really paying a whole lot of attention to what beads I'm doing it through. There's no right or wrong way to do this, just go through some beads. Because here's the thing, if that thread comes loose at all, it's going to have to find the path that I'm going down through now in order for beads to fall off, and that's never going to happen. So you go down, you know, a little bit straight, grab some beads off to the side. You're just wanting to make it hard for that thread to come out and for beads to fall off of. All right? And then you cut. Okay? Okay, so now you've got the little thread over here, which you do the same thing. And Cheryl, this is what's going to really make you mad because, think about it. You got to put your needle on 3 times. So you're better off getting one of these cool lights or a little magnifier. Let me see where I'm at here. Just to thread it. And you're going to do the same thing, is take this. I got to pull it away, you guys. I can't do it on the thing here by you. All I'm doing is threading the needle, and I'll show it to you, and I'm going to do the exact same thing of what I just did. And this is the worst thing about this project, I'm telling you. Any of this seed beading, or any working with this thread at all, is threading this stinking needle. I don't know what you're talking about by a big eye needle. What is that? Is it a needle that goes right through the small needle hole? All right, so now I'm on the other small piece of thread, and I'm going to do the same thing. And just go down through some beads. A thin needle for beading, but it is able to pull apart to slip through. I'll have to just look into that. Are you guys still going, Sue and Cheryl? I hope you're still going. 312. That's all you're doing. Like I said, you can, good. You can work with as long of a piece of thread as you want. You just need to be careful that you don't get tangled. All right. All right, so I went through some beads and I'm cutting. Like I said, that also just helps reinforce the beads as well. Okay, so now I've got my long piece of thread, and now I'm gonna put my needle on that, and then I'm gonna keep going. Oh, okay. For $1? Wow. Where do you get that? Does Hobby Lobby have them? And where do you get them? Are they by the beading needles, or are they by the sewing? And actually, that great big necklace that I showed you, this one, it's the same thing. It's just the same stitch, and it works up really fast because there's bigger beads inside there. All right, so now I'm all ready to go back to my stitching. My 3, my 1, and 2. So it's the exact same stitch the entire length of the bracelet, and you can make a necklace obviously too, just by making it a little longer. I'm sorry guys, my neighbor is texting me. There's crazy people everywhere. We have crazy people in our neighborhood. She's complaining about them. Okay, and then we're going to go up through 5. Now once you've got that bead on top, that is where I tied that knot. So it might be a little bit tougher to go through that one spot, but you can go through it. And the reason this needle, I know you don't like the needle, the reason the needle has to be as thin and as small as it is because it will not go through those little holes of the beads if it's not. So this is what I was working on all last week when I was sick. And like I said, it's something easy to bring along with you somewhere. If you guys, I know I used to actually bring this to travel basketball and baseball games because we always had time between games. And I would just find myself a table and sit while we waited between games while my husband and the boys would watch the games beforehand. And it's just, to me, it's a relaxing project. and it's addicting. Because as much as you want to put it away sometimes, I tell myself, okay, I'm going to do one more row. And then I do a bunch more. Okay, you can buy a needle threader online. You drop the needle in it, eye down, lay the thread across, push a button down, pull the needle out, and it's threaded. I've never worked with those. If it would make this a lot easier, though, it'd be worth it, huh? Because that is the worst part of the whole thing. Like I said, if you're comfortable working with a really long piece of thread, which I think I could be, but I just wanted to be able to show you all. I forgot to take a picture. You should know how to add on thread anyway. Check my texts. Okay. So this is tell me what you like, if you like it or not, Cheryl and Sue, since you're actually doing it, and be honest, because you don't have to like it. Not everybody, it's not for everybody. It's fun and easy, isn't it? Think about all the different colors. Oh, thanks, Denise. I'm going to ask you to put that in my my Facebook message, please. You bead dolls. Okay, tell me what you do, Bonnie. That's what I was doing, Cheryl, last week. That's why I started beading again. Tell me how you bead dolls. That sounds like a lot of fun. I'll show you a little sneak peek. Oh, I'll show you a sneak peek of my secret project. But I'm not going to tell you what it is. You might be able to guess it. Wait, I have to hide some of the things that are going to give it away. All right, look at this. Again, now this is seed beads. What, Shy? It is, see? I'm not going to tell you, Bonnie. You're going to have to just see if I can. I actually figured it out. Purple and pink. I love the colors I picked. Colors are the worst part for me. Nope. It's not a wine bottle thing. It could be, I bet, though, huh? I'll show you more of it on Thursday if I get more done. But I'm working on something. No blabbing. Yeah, I guess I have to show you the process of how I do stuff. Otherwise, you get accused of it not being yours or something. By morons, of course. All right. If you are using a light bead and a dark bead, color thread would you use? All right, well, I am using a dark bead and a light bead here. And I'm using black. I could have used either. I could use clear or white. Either one. The main reason you're using dark, if you're using, I guess the biggest issue is if you're using all light color beads, translucent beads, Don't forget, there's all different kinds of finishes of these beads. There's silver line, translucent. Some of them are clear all the way through, and you can actually see the thread. If you can see the thread through the bead, you don't want to have pink and white beads and see a black thread through it. That's the only reason the thread color makes a difference. Now, if you're having trouble going through the core with your needle, you want to use a thinner needle. You shouldn't be having a problem going through it if you're using a 10 or a 12. So now as you're working on this, you're going to keep, if it's for you, you're going to keep putting it on your wrist to see if it's ready or not yet. And the rule of thumb that I use is once it meets exactly, I stop the beading and I add the clasp because the clasp adds a little bit. So this is the one, let me cut this. Maybe I'll finish working on mine, and on Thursday I'll show you how to add the clasp, because by then you guys should be ready to add your clasp. Or if you want to know sooner, if you're finished sooner, I can walk you through it. I can hop on here and show you. So look, this is what I did. Hold on. Once it actually met the two, the core beads met around the widest part of my wrist, I stopped and I added a clasp. Okay? Now the clasp is going to be super easy to put on, and I'll show you how to do that when you're ready. But it just goes right through. The clasp has a little circle on each side, and you put one on each end, obviously, and you just literally sew around it a whole bunch of times, and you're good to go. But look at these make cute stocking stuffers. Like I said, the girls all made one for their moms. I think we did them for Mother's Day. And then they made one for themselves for school. And then that stopper bead just comes off the back. And you attach your clasp. How are you girls doing? Are you still going? And like I said, if this is something you really like to do and you want to get a bunch of seed beads, we can do a group type of a buy on them. I would just share my discount because I'm never going to use all those beads myself. Whatever I get them for, we can split them. I'm sure we could agree on colors. How many spirals do you have done? Count your spirals and tell me how many you're up to. Oh, and I can even tell you my wrist. Oh, wait, do I have one done? Oh, yeah. Well, let me see. How many spirals it took. Good. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. My wrist took 16 spirals of this size with the 8 and the 11s. Yeah, you need to watch to know. Did showing you through the piece of paper work better than with the beads? Because I know my beads are clear. So maybe I should make that a part of my tutorial, is just draw it and put the picture. All right, good. I've seen them do that on shows and stuff too, so. Well, here's how big my wrist is. You can, if you're making it for someone, you can measure their wrist, but don't forget to measure it around the biggest part, like after that bone in your wrist. Yeah, mine's like 6.5, 7 inches. Little girls love these. I'm just always nervous about giving it as a gift to a little girl because if they play with it, I mean, it's secure, but those are really tiny beads. You can make these into, you can make bracelets, necklaces. Think about it. You can make earrings by just stopping, only doing 1 or 2 spirals or 3 and putting the earring hook on it. Yeah, you can do, I don't know, share your ideas with me after you make them. And I want to see what you guys make. That's why I started that site over there too. So take pictures. And it's easy. It really is easy. I know it was confusing there at the beginning, but that was my fault. And what's your favorite colors? Shy. Hint, hint. I think that means she wants me to make her one. Pink and what? 2 different kinds of pink or pink in a contrasting color? And that's the other thing, you guys. You can use the same colors or you can use contrasting. I mean, think of the different ways you can do this. Bunch of different ways. Teal, blue, and pink. I was just telling Sue before you guys all came onto the show that that's what Erica wants to do for the wedding, is navy blue and pink. Teal blue. I'm not good with colors, remember? Oh, but look at this blue bracelet. Which one of these is teal? Teal is more of a green, isn't it? Green blue? Blue green. Yeah, that's just it. It does look, and you think this looks complicated. Oh my God, this is so easy too. It really is. You're working when you're working with this one, you're holding it like this and you're working around and going up, obviously. You're not holding it sideways. You're working it like this, up and down. This is I did a class of this at my house where every Thursday there were 4 of us got together and I just had the ladies buy their beads. We shared the beads. And we got together for a couple hours every Thursday. The middle is the core. Oh, what bead is it? Are you asking me on this one? What is the middle? It's a combination. It's pearls and seed beads. So it works up really fast, but it's obviously you've got to make it a lot longer if it's a necklace. You can do pearls, you can do fire polished, you could do glass beads, you can do check beads, but you have to use seed beads on the outside here. And again, this is the exact same thing. It's the same stitch, the entire length of it, just like this bracelet. And that's what I like about the patterns that I choose to do, is it's the same thing. It's repetitive. Sue, how far are you on yours? Show the bugle bead one. Okay. Show the bracelet or how to do it? Which one? I have the blue one. Oh, is this the color? I can show you how to do that one. This is the bugle, blue. And here's the bugle, pink. All right, well, the bugle bead one is the exact same thing, except your core, you're going to start like how we started the bracelet with this one. You're going to core 7, and it's 2, 1, 1. 2 11s, 1 bugle, 1 11. So that's 2, 1, 1, and that's the measuring difference between a bugle bead and a size 8 and 11 bead together. So where you need 4 beads to make your spiral on this, you only need 3 beads to make your spiral on this. So your spiral here is 1 seed bead, 111, 1 bugle, 111. And on this, it's 2 11s, 1 8, 2 11s. Bugle beads do have sizes. The bugle beads that I used are 6 millimeter. And that's the equation for that bracelet. Do not think that you can just buy 2 millimeter bugle beads and do the same thing. You're not going to come out with the same result. And I'll tell you how I figured it out. And that's easy too. Hold on, now I'm all tangled up. Bugle beads have different sizes. What I did was, when I took my first class of beading at the bead store, go to your local bead stores. If you want to learn how to do a technique, and then you can make it your own, like I did by using different. This is hexagon beads and this is bugle beads. What I did to figure it out is I laid out one spiral, okay, and I just did this. I went 2, 1, 2. Whoops. I literally laid it out. I didn't measure it. Because I'm visual, I'm not a measurer. Remember me? I'm the line before the 2 lines before the 3. I don't like measuring. So this is what I did. I'm showing you exactly what I did. Okay? Then I wanted to use bugle beads. Where are my bugles? Sorry if that's loud. Aren't these gorgeous bugle beads? Okay. Now this is, first of all, this is a 12 bugle bead. So look, that's the exact size as that one spiral. So you would not want to use a 12-inch one, or you'd have to add to the core. All right, so that's a 12 bugle. Let me show you a 6. This is a 6, obviously half the size. Now the other thing is, these are twisted bugles. And I don't know if you can tell, can you see the way they're indented and they're literally twisted? There's a design to them. Can you see that? Or do I have to hold it up? All right, so they're beveled. There's cuts in it. All right, so that's a 12 and that's a 6. So when I put the 6 up next to this, I can see that I just need 2 beads and I'm at the same length. Okay, so that's how I got the equation for that. So actually what ends up happening by doing that count is 1's there and 1's there. So I just needed to get the same length, and that's how I achieved it, is with 1 seed bead, 1 6 millimeter bugle, and 1 seed bead, 11. So you just need to measure or lay them out like I did to figure out what goes where. And then the same thing with the hexagon, because the hexagon bead is a little bit bigger than the size 8 bead. There's a different equation for that too. So you can use whatever beads you want. Now that you have the count for the 8 and the 11, just lay it out like I did and you can do whatever you want with it. I wouldn't go bigger. I'd go smaller. Now here are, let me show you. Remember how I told you 15s are itty bitty? Let me see if I have any. I went to the bead store yesterday because I didn't want to wait to order. Look at how beautiful these are. What are these? Hold on. Look at the color of these. Oh, good. Yep. You can add charms from these if you want. I also found these. I'm going to use these as a closure on an altered book I'm working on. I found it at the bead store. It's a dragonfly button. Isn't it pretty? Hold on. I'm trying to find. I want to show you how small. These are 15s. Itty bitty bitty. Oh, thank you, Shai. It's easy to do. I don't claim to be profound at anything. I just like to do stuff and I share it if it's something I like. Yep. The magnifier lights, remember they're called OT. They're the best light and there's a magnifier on it. Let me see if I can bring this in. Let me move my tray. This is the OT light. Okay? So it goes, you can adjust it. Okay? Let me see something. Hold on. There's the light. And then here is the magnifier. So it makes it a lot easier to thread. Yeah, don't, Sue, that's fine. That does happen. Are you using a 10? I want to say it was probably $25, half price. Yeah, I want me to show you all of them. Here. These are 8s. If you're using a size 10, this is what I picked up. Isn't this gorgeous? Ooh. Wow, maybe you'll have a little present coming then. I could always just go run out and buy one too. I'd like to know where you can do that. I like this color combination. Sue, do you Skype? Because I can Skype with you too. Just send the beads. I like the blues. Look at this one, Sue. Isn't that purple gorgeous? Here's the 8, and then I got this color to go with it. I know, they're amazing. Okay, wait, I got to show Sue something because she was telling me about her daughter. Hold on, where's my black? Look at Sue. Blue, gray, black. These are your daughter's colors. Here's the other blue. This is a little lighter. I'm not sure which blue she's... It is hard to make a choice, and that's why I bought them all. These are 15s now, so they're a lot smaller. Am I froze? Oh. Okay, good. Yeah, so there's millions of different color combinations with these. There's different stitches. Like I said, the very first stitch I ever did was the one I just taught you. And the bracelets that I made. I made all those and I made more, I just gave them away as gifts. The second one I did was this. So I looked at it too and I said, oh my God, I'm never going to be able to do that. That is going to be way too hard. It's not. Okay, let me give you another piece of advice, Cheryl, with threading the needle. Take the thread, put it in your mouth, bite on it, and pull it through your teeth. Sometimes that thins it out a little bit and makes it easier to get through the hole of the small needle. What kind of thread are you using? I forgot, were you the one who said you're just using plain beading thread? Or are you using the fire line? I'm just waiting for her response. Yeah, beading thread. See, I'm using fire line and it's hard too, so you need a magnifier and you need, look into that needle, the thing that Denise and Shai were talking about, if it's only $1. Denise, how much is the one that you were talking about? Yeah, and that's why I use the fire line too, for that reason. Well, that's not bad. I got this fire line at Pro Bass Shop, but I can also buy it for you if you need it through my supplier. Hobby Lobby, let me think a second. If Hobby Lobby has it, get it from your Hobby Lobby with a coupon, and it's cheaper than what I can get it for you for. But remember, 6 pound is enough for this. I'm going to have to look at this one. I think I used a little bit heavier because it's holding more beads. I've not seen Fireline at Joann's, so you cannot get it there, I don't think. Check your Hobby Lobby and use a coupon. If you can't get it at yours and I can get it at mine, I can get it for you. And I'll use a coupon and you can just send me the money. And Michael's and Joann's and Hobby Lobby do not have a good selection of beads. If you're wanting to buy beads, we either have to do a group buy for beads to get some good ones, or you need to go to your bead store and get them there. There is a difference between the beads you get at a bead store and the beads you get at Hobby Lobby. Oh. I told you the threading is the worst part. Yeah. I was honest with you. I told you that's the worst part of the whole thing is the threading. Oh. We'll just have to figure out how to use the threader. If it's not hard, that's good. Yeah. Yeah, just play around with what you have. The stitch is the same, so you don't have to have certain beads. But remember, if you're using it for jewelry, the beads that you're going to get from Hobby Lobby, and you can even read it on their packaging, they're color finished. That just means that somebody goes by on an assembly line and they spray the color on it. What happens with that is if you rub up against something or as it ages, the color starts to come off. Now, you have to look at things in two ways. Number one, if you're giving it as a gift and you want it to last, you want to buy the better beads because that's what they are. They're better beads. The shine is better. Look at how shiny they are. The finish is just altogether a different type of a finish. Secondly, if you're going to spend the kind of time to do something like this, and this isn't even all the way done for a necklace, and you're going to use crummy beads and the color's going to start to come off on it, who's going to want to wear it? Now, if you're just using it for, let's not forget, this doesn't have to be a bracelet. Wouldn't this make an awesome closure on an altered book? Bring it into your paper crafts. Um, how many different flower projects that we make, could we attach something like the smaller beads, the size 15s, and use it to just weave in and out of something? Key rings, telephones, cell phones. Um, I could see using it on a lot of different things. I can see using this one as a closure of a book, because look at how this one closes. It's just got a seed bead handmade clasp, and you can do that. Yep, hair pieces. This one's a little bit harder to do because it's right angle weave, and the beads are a little bit different, but we could definitely do this. I think the next time I do a beading thing, I should do a YouTube and then go online at Ustream to show you guys if you had any questions, because I think this was a little bit harder for you to see, just because it gets blurry as you get up close. This one, what I could do is I could put together, I'd have to count out all the beads, and obviously depending on your wrist size would determine how many you need, and then what colors everyone would want, and I could get the beads and we could make one. I don't know, I had a lot of fun doing this one actually. It was a nice easy stitch, and I would do it as I watch TV. It's not even requiring a bunch of concentration once you get it started. The big thing about any of these projects is getting them started. So I had all of those done and ready to show you. And then my secret project there that I'm working on, we'll see how that turns out. And hopefully I can share that with you. Well, that's all right. It doesn't take long to learn them, so I do really like this one though. But I like the nature colors, the browns. To see what one? My secret project? Everyone's got a secret project going. Oh, Cheryl. Sometimes you have to cut off cut off a little end of it, Cheryl, and start from there, because you start to fray it. And you don't want to do that. All right, guys. Well, that's it for today. When you're ready to put the clasp on, shoot me an email, maybe by Thursday. Oh, I know you do get sidetracked. You will get it. At least you know how to do the stitch now. Write it down so that, because I have a tendency when I do it and I go back to it, I forget. Thank you. You will get it. Thank you. Yep, write it down so that you remember where you leave off. And I find it's best to leave off with your beads already on, ready to make the next spiral. Okay? And then I just stab my needle into my bead mat like that so the beads can't fall off. And then you look at it and you know, okay, this is the spot I'm at. I've got to add the 1 to my core, go up through the 5. Aww. Email me if you want a copy of the tutorial. I'm not done with it yet, though. I want to draw it out now that I did it like that, where you were able to understand it. I'm like halfway through the tutorial. I did my own starting from scratch, so, and I'm telling you how to do it just as I said here, so it's in my own way of doing things. You can do it your own way as well. And I took pictures, like I said, on my camera, so I've got to get to a spot where I need to add some thread again so I can take a picture and then the end for the clasp. Well, I have to email you the site. No one has the link. And I can't get on the link right now. When I'm on Ustream, I can't be on Facebook and the internet at all. So I will be back on again on Thursday. You guys can head over to my blog and get your bingo words. I put up the bingo words for yesterday and today with a bunch of bonus words so that we get through this a little bit better. Thanks, Tanya. Thank you. And if you're working on this at all and you have any problems, feel free to email me, Skype me, give me a call on Facebook. I'm happy to walk you through it. It would be interesting to see if it's blurry on Skype or on Facebook chat. You're welcome. What was removed there? What did you do? I want to thank Shai and Bonnie for moderating for me. Cheryl's going to work off of her roll of thread next time. You just have to be careful when you use a really long piece of thread. It's easy to tangle, so be careful with that. The last thing you want is a bunch of knots. Thanks for coming, guys, and I will chat with all of you. And take pictures. Cheryl, take a picture of what you've done so far and email it to me. I'd love to see it. Sue, you too, if Sue's still here. Bye, Bonnie. Thanks for coming. See you guys on Thursday. Thank you. Good night. Yeah, you did. You started with a shorter piece. You're right. All right. Bye-bye. Thank you again. See you guys soon. Bye-bye.